All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, news is spreading about a fight being agreed to between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. I received a note on Instagram asking my opinion about the validity of it from LAWZI. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where there's a lot of wishful thinking going on. And the word is out there on the street that the fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson has been agreed to for November 23rd. This joins one of the many rumors around this fight. But before we get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Means a ton. Shout out to Matty O, King of the Super Thanks. Shout out to Barbara D, King of the Queen of the live streams. Hope you guys are doing well, and thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Shout out to Ash and Denton. I hope Ashawn Denton. I hope that you're doing well. Hope everything's going well, going better for you. Have not forgotten about you, but let's get into this. So, is the fight going to be on November 23rd for Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis? I would take that with a huge grain of salt because unfortunately in the boxing world, in the social media world, there's always somebody trying to get a leg up on the information to try to get people to tune in to their channels. So the person that put this out, number one, I had not heard of. I do not believe I heard of before. It's like BWF. Not sure who they are. However, more than likely, they're not Al Heyman. And more than likely, they're not Jay Prince. They're not Gervonta Davis. They're not Shakur Stevenson. So more than likely, we can dismiss this as wishful thinking and an attempt to get people to really focus in on that particular media outlet because they're breaking news. So what is the case? According to what has come out of the mouths of the people involved, there's not been an agreement sent from Gervonta Davis to Shakur Stevenson. And if there's not been an agreement, which a lot of people call a contract, an agreement or an offer rather, sorry, is probably the phrase I should use, an offer sent from Gervonta Davis to Shakur Stevenson yet, then how can there be a fight date? It's just not very likely. Now, I would love for this to be true. But it is, I doubt very much it is. But here's a problem with it, because this does cause a problem. Now, if the fight doesn't take place on November 23rd, you will hear a bunch of people calling duck. Duck from Shakur, duck from Gervonta. Gervonta turned down a November 23rd fight or offered Shakur Stevenson $500 to fight him on November 23rd. Shakur Stevenson turned down $50 million offer from Gervonta Davis to fight on November 23rd. The fact that the fight doesn't happen isn't going to happen on November 23rd. And I say the fact, it's not a fact that it won't happen. It may happen. That is a Saturday. That is a Saturday. However, I don't know how these people would know that, and most likely not listening to Calvin Ford, listening to Shakur. Those guys have a long way to go before that fight actually gets signed and gets made. So But it's not going to stop the conversation from going on. It's not going to stop the speculation. It's not going to stop the accusations. And every time people throw more misinformation out there into the universe, the more confusing that it gets for everybody else. Then people start getting disheartened. You could see this when Gervonta Davis was in a conversation. Not Gervonta Davis, excuse me. Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford were in negotiations for their fights back in 2022. When every other day it was he signed an offer was sent. Errol Spence Jr. Sends Terence Crawford an offer. Terence turns it down. Oh, the fight is set for May. Oh, now the fight is set for October. Now the fight is set for November. Oh, now they want to have it in January. How many times during that situation, that negotiation, the initial negotiation from Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, did the fight date get announced by some, not just people on YouTube, but Mike Coppinger? Everybody was in the business of giving, of pushing that, fight that everybody wanted and acting like it was almost done, only for that date to pass by, nothing to really take place, and people start losing interest in the fight. People start feeling a certain way about the fight, not wanting to hear about the fight. But then eventually the fight gets made. That very well may be, and most likely will be, the path for this fight with Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis as well. But word to the wise. Don't get your news off YouTube. This is to the guy that asked me the question. Do not get your news off YouTube videos. I really am a big believer that you should get the news that you take somewhat to heart out of the mouth of guys like Dan Rayfield. Now, not that Dan Rayfield is right every single solitary time. Sometimes he's off. I've seen him be off a couple times, but they consistently provide information that winds up being true on a consistent basis. Much different than what you'll get from YouTube channels, because what we do is we're really responsible for pushing the conversation, or that's what the strength of YouTube channels are: pushing the conversation, pushing the information that comes from the journals into journalists through to a larger audience of people by speaking in videos and things like and putting up information on Twitter and all of that. That's where you're going to get the echo chamber out of YouTube. You really shouldn't sit up there and say, okay, man, well, I heard this on this YouTube channel, that makes it gold, because more than likely it's not gold, especially something like this, where you can just listen to all of the things that have been said by the parties involved and know that they are most likely nowhere near close enough to have actually set on a date. You will start knowing when dates are set when you start hearing things like the PBC has reserved the MGM Grand for November 23rd, and you can start speculating about who it's going to be. Personally, I don't think Shakur and Gervonta are going to fight next. I think that Shakur is going to work out whatever, what his new promotional situation is going to be. Gervonta Davis was going to fight Vasily Lomachenko. That fell through, so he's probably going to find another fighter, probably of the Latino variety, and have two different fan bases come and help him sell a fight. But my response, the short response to the person that asked me about that November 23rd, and I could go call Coach Calvin or Kenny and ask them if this is true. But more than likely, I'm just going to get the answer that no, it's not. And that's obvious from the conversations that they've had in public, talking about what needs to transpire in order to make the fight. I doubt very much all that stuff is going on and they have no clue about it. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.